That's 800-399-6879.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a lead in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires, damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings. He wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and want help seeking compensation, get your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
You're now listening to the Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
All right. Thank you for that. And welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast, around the world on American Forces Radio Network. And lines are available this first segment, 1-800-878-7529. Email at sportsbyline.com. This email here is from Michael. Row your boat ashore, hallelujah. Blew it. Michael said, Rick, I know Mayock is gone, but will text also sign every player from the national championship. Yeah, I was at that game at Santa Clara when Mike Mayock drafted, was it the Corn Mullen and Cleve Farrell, and he liked a lot of guys. Hunter Renfroe, he liked a lot of guys in that game. Well, I actually, when I saw the email, I was thinking, you know, who else is in this game? I mean, we know some of the big names. We obviously know who won the Heisman Trophy. And Fernando Mendoza has been about as flawless, knock on wood for him, as you can be. He's thrown more touchdowns than incompletions in the playoffs. 8 touchdown passes, 5 incompletions. Incompletions? Why does that sound wrong? Is that a word? Incompletions? What am I saying wrong?
Incompletions?
Is that a word?
Yeah, it means it was incomplete.
Yeah. Why does that sound weird? Incompletions.
I don't know. It'd be incompletion and completions.
All right. Thank you. Dominic, my alter ego floating around in my brain. Thank you for that. Yeah, I don't know why that sounds stupid. But anyway, live radio, obviously. And, I mean, it's when you have 8 touchdowns and 5 incompletions in the playoffs. And they have been fantastic. There's no doubt. What they destroyed Oregon, they blanked Texas Tech. It's just Mendoza, 31 touchdown passes, 6 rushing, no picks. This is all knock on wood for him. So we know who Carson Beck is, obviously. And in the end, has intercepted Purdue, Iowa, UCLA, Oregon State, Ohio State, Oregon quarterbacks. Will they intercept Beck, who has been prone to do that? In Miami's 2 losses, he threw 6 picks, which ain't great. I think most of us know Malachi Toney at this point, a true freshman who wasn't supposed to make it look this easy. The wide receiver from Miami, he's one of the X factors that Coach Sig and others are scheming against in Bloomington right now. Of course, when Cignetti came over from James Madison, he brought some guys, and one of them was D'Angelo Pons. We were talking about him as the best corner on Indiana before the game in the semifinal, and he had a pick 6 on the first play of the entire game. So I think also one of the guys to look at is Kalon Black, a running back from Indiana. Now, I feel like we know who Roman Hemby is at this point. But Black has been the leading rusher in the last 2 games, 162 yards, 3 touchdowns. They have 2. Indiana has 2 very tough, fast running backs that can go up the middle. So that, and then other targets. Charlie Becker, the wide receiver for Indiana. And the way that Fernando Mendoza is good at throwing those back shoulder plays, like to Cooper and Elijah Sarrett. But Becker is pretty much option number 3. But what's intriguing is that he averages most yards per catch, 20.5 yards. So that kind of leaves Cooper and Sarrett to do the heavy lifting. And so that's another thing that the offensive coordinator, Mike Shanahan, not that one, will be scheming against. But, we all saw that game where as soon as Moore of Oregon dropped back, he was inundated. You look at Nkudwe, a very special sophomore defensive end, and he was playing at home last week with 2 sacks, a forced fumble, 4 quarterback pressures, and a block punt. And from Lithonia, Georgia, and you'd have to wonder if you're a dog, how do we let that guy get out of town? That was something that Howard Schnellenberger said when he went to Miami. He goes, everyone from Dade County is a Cane, not a Buckeye or a Nittany Lion or a Irish anymore. We're keeping all the guys in town. Now, Miami also has a pretty good running back in Marc Fletcher. I would say so because in the playoffs, he's averaging 134 yards a game. They have relied on him to carry that load between the tackles and the short yardage situations and to take the load off of Beck so you can keep that defense respectable. They're not bringing the house all the time. And, Indiana prides itself on stopping the run. And they're second in the nation in that, 75 yards they give up per game. So Fletcher has to bring it, and also Chamar Brown as well. By the way, C-H-A-R, capital M-A-R, all one word, Chamar Brown. And then finally, Ruben Bain, the defensive lineman for Miami. The best medicine for disrupting an unstable quarterback is a nasty pass rush and getting Mendoza on the ground early. The quarterback must go down. He must go down hard, Al Davis. And that's what Bain and his teammates in the trenches are trying to do against Nando, who barely suffered any turf stains since some of those early issues in Alabama were quickly corrected in the quarterfinals. Now, Fernando Mendoza, it's not like he doesn't know what it's like to be sacked. He got sacked at Cal last year 41 times. And this year, 18 times. That's a big difference. 41. He knows what it's like to get slammed. Let's just say that. He's a tough guy. But Bain, 3 sacks against Ohio State and against Ole Miss. Not as prolific. Ole Miss definitely zeroed him out, concentrated on him, made sure that Ruben Bain didn't beat him. But he commands attention. is hey, if you're going to double team him, now the other guy is single or even sometimes nobody on him. I always wondered, like, I would sit, especially my 5th year in college, starting to coach high school football, I would sit in class, not paying attention, and I would draw up plays. I would try to scheme offensive plays. And I'd always think, how do I assess for Mike or Will or Sam? How do I get this guy through? Who's my fullback picking up here? What if I stun? What if I pull a guard? And I'd sit there endlessly, day after day, and I would draw up schemes, and I'm like, can I reinvent the wheel? And then I'd always come back to the simplest things are the best, especially with high school kids. KISS, right? But that's the thing that every offensive coach has tried to figure out. That's why I hate single back sets as well. Who's going to clean out that linebacker that's standing in the hole when there's no fullback? This is why I like Kyle Shanahan's philosophy. Oh, no, the first player I'm going to get is a fullback, and I'm going to keep him forever. Even when I tell him he's leaving, I'll change it and say, come back. And I grew up with, fullbacks like Banaszak, Van Egan, and guys who would clean out that hole. So there's a lot of players to look at, a lot of players who are going to be high picks in the draft, and that's coming up on Monday. All right, we're going to talk a little food on the other side, so come on.
Like the legend of the Phoenix, all ends with beginnings. What keeps the planet spinning? The force from the beginning.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. You're a CPAP user and you have Medicare. Staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs and alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
I'm not insightful enough to be a movie critic. Maybe I could be a food critic. These muffins taste bad. Or an art critic. That painting is bad.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. We're waiting on our guest. We ain't got none. We had no guest yet. So come on in and get heard wherever you might happen to be. 1-800-878-7529. Come on. I was looking at some of the transfers at quarterback, and after 20 of them, this is in the portal NCAA, and after 20 of them, I just said I'm done. I'm getting confused. It's just, and they're most all of them are the hot prospect who it just didn't work out. So he left. Like Joe Burrow, like Quinn Ewers, one of those guys. Or it's a guy who was kind of a no one, and then like, holy crap, like a Fernando Mendoza type like that. And that's why I thought it was kind of a lateral move. I mean, Cal is a bigger name in college football than Indiana ever will be. Indiana has the most losses in the history of football, but right now Cal is nothing and Indiana is everything. So Fernando made the right decision. But, we saw with Pavia and we saw with Chambliss and others that there are a lot of different ways that things can be interpreted when it comes to redshirting, when it comes to having an injury, and also the COVID year as well. And I saw the name TJ Finley. TJ Finley is the latest example to show what these eligibility waivers have redefined what is possible now in college football, y'all. 6 years ago, Finley went to LSU as the hot freshman. A couple of days ago, he signed with Incarnate Word and will sign next season at the FCS level. 7 schools in 7 years. So he started 5 games at LSU as a true freshman. And that's when we all got to know his name, TJ Finley, one to watch. That was that pandemic year. And then he bounced to Auburn after his 1 year in Baton Rouge. And Auburn took a shot on Finley and took advantage of another SEC opportunity. And when Bo Nix got hurt, remember, Bo Nix ended up going to Oregon after that. Finley started down the stretch for the Tigers and threw for about 800 and some odd yards, 6 touchdowns. But going into the 2022 season, he was told he's not the starter. He thought that he finally broke through, and he threw 4 interceptions in his last 4 games and then got a season-ending injury, so he ended up leaving the SEC, and he landed at Texas State. Texas State, that's the Bobcats there, San Marcos, as I would say San Marcos, former Southwest Texas State. And he played all 13 games with time. He was one of the best players in the Sun Belt. He threw for nearly 3,500 yards and 24 touchdowns and 5 rushing scores. But it was a one-year stint there. All right. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast, around the world on American Forces Radio Network. We have located our guests, and that is the Food Network with their Baking Champion franchise has introduced the Baking Championship Next Gen, which just premiered a couple weeks ago with the host and judges Duff Goldman and Cordea Brown. And now this Next Gen is a competition between 12 teams of siblings who are 8 to 14 years old, and they are competing to win $25,000. And we have the Nouri sisters with us, Melody and Leila. Welcome to both of you. Melody, let's start with you. When did you realize that you and your sister are really good at baking?
Hi, thank you for having us today.
When did you realize you were really good at baking?
So it started in preschool, and we made birthday cakes for our birthdays, and my favorite part was mixing the batter. As years passed, I added stuff to a bowl, and I started making recipes, and it was really fun for me, and I found that I loved baking, and it became a passion. And now I always think about baking.
Very cool. And Leila, what about, it's one thing to bake in your kitchen with your family. What about baking on TV? Do you feel the pressure, or are you able to ignore the bright lights?
Yes, so at times on the show, it was really stressful because we were on a time crunch, and sometimes we were a little behind, and that made things feel a bit stressful. But I had a bunch of fun on the show, and I think it was a great experience.
So, Melody, what is your specialty? Is it bread, cakes, cookies, pies? What would it be?
So my specialty is cakes, because I like to make like a lot of different unique cakes with like cool designs with my airbrush and like using different fondants with different molds. And I'm also like really good at imposter cakes. I like to like make imposters that look like foods.
Like, is it cake? It looks like a shoe, and then you cut into it?
Yeah, it's like cake, but then like I mold it into like, for example, like something realistic, like a burger or like a salad.
A salad? Wow, that sounds impossible. Leila, I know on the show it can get a little tricky, and they can have lots of different challenges. How did you guys respond to those challenges?
So basically, when they told us each challenge, I would really quickly talk to Melody and decide on what we're going to do. But on the show, our personalities, both Melody and I, like to be the boss, so that kind of made some like conflict because we both had like our ways of doing certain things, and we had to hurry and think of what we were going to make, so that kind of made things a little difficult.
Now, Melody, in the competition, the other siblings, were you friendly with them, or were they bitter competitors, or maybe somewhere in the middle?
So some of them were really competitive, and some of them were really nice, but overall, everyone was really nice, and we made great friendships, and we made some long, life-lasting friendships.
That's very nice. And then, Leila, what's it like when you go to school and your friends are like, hey, I saw you on TV?
Yeah, so everyone, right when I walked into school the next day after the first episode aired, everyone was telling me I was like famous and that they wanted my signature. And it was just really cool to see that as it came out. And yeah.
So, Melody, how many selfies do you take with people every day?
Not that much, but like I really want, like, when I go on the streets, I want people to be like, oh, yeah, we won Baking Championship Next Gen. Can I take a photo?
Very good. Last question, Leila. $25,000. Now, being minors, your parents have to look at the money. But if they just gave you the money, what's the first thing would you buy? Would it be like a bike or a PS5 or what?
I think for Melody, I think it would go towards her baking business, and I think one thing that she would get is a blast chiller, which they had on the show, because it was really cool to use, and it would cool stuff down really fast. But I think I would want a car because I'm going to start driving soon, and I think that would be a really good opportunity to use.
Excellent stuff. We've been speaking with Melody and Leila Nouri, the Food Network's Baking Championship Next Gen, as they compete for $25,000 this Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Hey, you guys, congratulations, and we'll look for you on the next TV show, huh?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Also, follow me on Melody's Bakes and Cakes on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I just started Facebook. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Melody Bakes and Cakes. I think that's what she said. Good stuff. All right. We will get back to the open lines and the sports talk at 800-878-PLAY. Come on back on Relating Sport.
What's that on that beat? Oh. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. I'm different, yeah, I'm different. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Put a finger up to come attention.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our better blue pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $9. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our better blue pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the better blue pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647. You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135.
Come again? You know Spanish. In English, please.
Rick Tittle beats his servants.
Don't beat my servants. Welcome back to the show. Chris Pratt will be on the show tomorrow. Big time Hollywood actor. I think I remember him most as Scott Hatterberg. I mentioned that here, and people were like, oh, yeah, that's what they think of him. He had fantastic comedic timing on Park and Rec. He was very funny on that show. Now he's in everything. I mean, the Super Mario movie, he had to voice Mario. And I remember thinking, how are they going to do that? Because it's me, Mario. Bung, 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 bung. So he's going to go on there and go, it's me, Mario. But the way they handled that, very tricky. Was it a dream? Was it an evil twin? No. It was, they showed that Mario at the beginning, there's a commercial, me and my brother Luigi, we fixing your pipes. And then they go, all right, cut. And they go, all right, we can use our normal voice now. So Mario, that's not his, he's putting on affectation to be Italian-American. I remember I was in the Black Forest, the Schwarzwald, southern Germany, southwest Germany. And there are a lot of Italian immigrants in that part of Germany, and I went to an Italian restaurant. It was hilarious to hear an Italian guy speak German with an Italian accent. You know, he's like, this is one of my Master Zeitung is. And I was like, and my dumb ass, I'm like, I thought Italian accent was just with English. Now, it's whatever language they're trying to speak. But there have been, now and then, a job like this I get a lot of privileges when it comes to attending things like sporting events and, comedic shows, sketch fest, whatever. Ballet tonight. I'm going to the gala. That's a friggin' bacchanal, by the way. See if I show up hungover tomorrow. Anyway, so I have some privilege, but every once in a while you feel like a big shot. And the biggest one is Army-Navy, where they fly you out, they pick you up in a limo with the little guy with the chauffeur hat and the sign of your name, and then they put you up in a beautiful hotel, and they pay for it, and you feel like a big shot. And you sit down with famous people and interview them. All on USAA's dime. That's pretty cool. And of all the 6 I've done, the coolest one was to do the show on the Intrepid in the Hudson on a carrier. And my dad had served on a carrier, so that was 2 carriers, so that was pretty cool. But yesterday, this is all roundabout way getting back to Chris Pratt, because the way you have people review movies is that you used to just send out a VHS, but then those would get copies. Then they would send out DVDs, and then those would be copied, and then they would be watermark in them. And I remember my friend at the Hilltop Mall in Richmond bought a movie. I forgot what the name of it was now, but it said, the watermark said Rosie O'Donnell in it. So somebody got hers, and then they made copies of that. So they put in different encryptions. Well, anything can get hacked, right? If you can lock it, somebody else can unlock it. And so then they start sending me these things where they wanted me to watch a movie, and then you have to join their little app, and then they have to go through, I jumped through 5 hoops on fire, and then it still doesn't work. And then they say you can only watch this on your phone, and I'm not sitting watching a 2-hour movie, and I can't even cast it onto my TV. Everything's locked down. I get these things all the time from Amazon. You have been given access to something you would never watch in a million years. And I'd be like, okay, thanks. So apparently now, a lot of these people are scared that even that stuff's going to get hacked. Years ago, I think it was Toy Story 2, Disney rented this big place on Van Ness, which is like a freeway of an avenue in San Francisco. And I went in, it's like 15 years ago, and I went in and they said all cell phones must be put into paper bags and stapled. And there was just like 20 of us, and I said, I'm expecting, I had to meet my dad or something. I'm expecting a text, and I won't take my phone out. And they said, no, you have to lock it in the bag. I said, well, could you do me a favor? Could you hold on to my phone, and then when it gets texted, just tell me, and then I'll leave. And they said, no. And I said, well, how about, and I remember like there was a security guard who kind of took a step at me, not super threatening, but just kind of like and I went, and he took like a mini step towards me, and I went, oh, it's like I go, you know what? I want to see your stupid movie. Bye. And I left. So I never saw Toy Story. It's like some government secrets. I don't talk about my ROTC days too much. One time in Bangor at the nuclear sub-base of USS Ohio, and as fourth-class midshipman, and we had to run this vault. It was literally like a vault of a bank, and they would open it, and we'd run in one at a time, and they're like, even the Marines aren't allowed in here. Go, 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 go. I'm like, golly, there's no Russian running in. So anyway, to make a long story longer, and another sports segment, these places now are super paranoid that their movies are going to get hacked. But a lot of times, they want you to watch the movie so you can have what they think would be an intelligent, or maybe not intelligent, but just a thorough, well thought out interview. Because what they don't want, we have Ruth Buzzy. Ruth, tell us about your new movie, what it's about, who's in it, what do you do? They don't want to do that anymore. They just want to be like, what about this, what about that, this part, that part, that part, this part, this part. And so sometimes they do say, we need your host. Rick has to watch the movie. And I'll be like, I can't. And they're like, we'll do it anyway. I go, don't worry. I'll do a fine interview. They're like, well, all right. So, long story longer, less interesting too. They said, so I have Chris Pratt tomorrow, and also the woman who I interviewed before, who was in True Detective with Jodie Foster, the one in Alaska or whatever. So they said, well, you can have Chris Pratt on Thursday, but Rick has to see the movie. And the movie's not out yet. So we're like, all right, how are we going to go about that? And they said, we'll rent a theater for him. Yeah. So that's what they did last night. And having a complete empty theater, so, if my boss and his wife wants to go, it's like, come on in. But an empty theater. I don't know. It was at the Metreon in downtown San Francisco. I don't know. First, they were like, what theater is convenient to you, Rick? And I said, well, the Cerrito Theater is probably the closest one, and they have couches and they serve food. And they're like, we can't get that one on short notice. We can get you the Metreon. Okay. So they rented out a movie theater for me to watch this movie called Mercy, which I watched last night. And then I guess hopefully Pratt shows up tomorrow and I can talk to him about it. But it also goes to show. And by the way, I'm appreciative of it. Thank you for wanting me to see it so bad, but it also shows how money is just thrown around in the industry. And when I was an intern trying to make it in TV in the late 80s, and it didn't matter, I had a degree in exactly that, you still had to work for free. You had to prove yourself. There were no streaming services. We only had 48 states. And there was a woman I knew who was at my other internship for doing video news releases and satellite press tours. And forget working in sports. I was like, would I ever work in sports is what I really wanted to do. But this one woman, Meg, who was like my supervisor, and she was really cool, and she was super beautiful too. And so I really looked up to her. She was really nice. And anyway, she said, hey, do you want to work on a Visa commercial? It's 3 days. And I went, absolutely. She goes, we'll give you $100 a day to be a gopher. And I went, great. So she gave me the address. It was down on Bryant Street, right under the Bay Bridge. And I went in, and there was this horrific woman who had purple hair who treated me like one of, like I was at P. Diddy's Freak Off or something. And just, I was, slave is of course very, that's not what I was. Let's just say indentured servant. And one thing that I did was I would drive around San Francisco to 5 different artists' house, and then I would take a Polaroid, and I would take a Polaroid of every painting they've ever done. And this was about a 5-hour deal. So I had all these addresses. I'm driving all over San Francisco. I'm taking all these Polaroid pictures of people's artwork. And so I came back, and these artists, they were really wanted to be picked. And they're like, well, take a picture of this. Wait, go to my basement. Oh, come upstairs. Wait, in my garage, I have 5 more paintings. And so I had 5 million Polaroids. And I went back, and I handed them to the lady. She looked at the one on top, and then she threw them all in the trash. She's like, yeah, I don't like these artists. And I was like, what? I realized what it was. In the commercial, someone painting the arch at that park in Utah, and it's on screen for 1 second. And it could have been just a picture of an arch. But this is the money that they were just throwing away every day. And then at the end, he said, all right, we're all having a party in Hawaii. Everybody's going to Hawaii to have a party because we finished the commercial. And I'm like, God, you guys are burning money. And then she said, get orange juice and muffins. And she goes, I want them here by 5 a.m. I got orange juice and muffins. She threw the muffins away, and she poured the orange juice down the drain. She goes, this isn't fresh squeeze, and these muffins. And I remember I went back to Meg, and I told her all these stories, and she goes, she sounds like a B word. But these are like people I know who got into like this business, and then they quit. It's days like that. I was not going to let that lady beat me. Gosh, she was an abysmal, horrible human being. All right, there's a segment down the drain. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Sports Byline.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Now, 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Hey, vacation lovers, it's finally time to use all those random facts you learned on TikTok for something that actually matters. It's the Radio Trivia Challenge from thevacationbuddies.com. All right, here's how it works. Be one of the first 10 callers right now, and you'll score a complimentary 3-day, 2-night getaway from the Vacation Buddies. You'll stay at none other than Westgate Resorts, in your choice of Vegas, Orlando, Myrtle Beach, or Branson. You ready? According to travel stats, which of these 3 cities is the most visited vacation destination in the U.S.? A, Las Vegas, B, Orlando, C, New York City. First 10 callers get a trip. So stop scrolling and start dialing. And let's see if TikTok actually taught you anything.
One of the first 10 callers, call Vacation Buddies right now. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. That's 800-340-1834.
Please let this nightmare stop! Please, I'm begging you, stop!
Rick Tittle invented FUBU.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. By the way, we are headed for a March Madness-style football playoffs. They're already expected. The people at the CFP are going to discuss expanding to 16 teams, 5 conference champions, 11 at large. Can you imagine that? And then some Notre Dame doesn't get in. Then another format with 24 teams. Wow. And the Power 4 commissioners and the ACC's Jim Phillips and Big 12's Brett Yormark and Bill Sankey, the SEC, and what's the guy, Petiti from the Big Ten. And then, of course, you got to get Pete Bavacqua in there from Notre Dame. I know we're not in a conference, but we believe that we belong. And no. But how many? I mean, you might, if they do that, then you have to just immediately, just go to the playoffs, right? I do see them getting rid of conference championship games because all that does now is hurt your undefeated team, or it gives your team that lock 2 losses. And that used to be the big money spinner. I remember it's like you could not have a conference championship unless you have 12 teams. How are we going to get to 12? How about 14, 16, 18 teams? So, yeah, it's fluid to say the least. 2 more hours. Come on back.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. Like a 3-minute warning this time around, as Mike Tomlin was fired on Tuesday as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Technically, he stepped down, but the calls for change in Pittsburgh had become increasingly louder over the last several years, and this season they reached a fever pitch. As the Steelers filed off the field on Monday night after their devastating loss to the Texans, chants of fire Tomlin rained down upon them. The fans' disappointment is justified. Over the past 9 years, the Steelers have made the playoffs 6 times and were immediately ousted 6 times. Since Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell were dumped after the 2018 season, the Steelers' offense hasn't ranked higher than 23rd in yards per game, and they've been one of the lowest scoring and least efficient. Pittsburgh going through 6 starting quarterbacks in 4 years and still seeing enough success to get by provided Tomlin some cover, but this season's additions of quarterback Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator were risky bets that ultimately busted. And with the winds of change blowing hard this offseason in the NFL, Tomlin's exit felt inevitable. But for someone of my age, which is weeks away from 50, Tomlin's exit is a reminder of 2 things. The first is how good of a coach he was for that team in that city. A relatively unknown one-year defensive coordinator in Minnesota, Tomlin inherited a seasoned football team from Bill Cowher, and he ran with them. The Steelers won a Super Bowl in Tomlin's second year and would return to the game 2 years later. With a length of tenure we'll likely never see again, he leaves after 19 years as a quintessential players coach. 193 regular season wins, never had a losing record, 13 playoff appearances, 8 AFC North titles, and a Super Bowl. And as good of a case for anyone for the Hall of Fame. 193 regular season wins, never had a losing record, 13 playoff appearances, 8 AFC North titles, and a Super Bowl. As good of a case for the Hall of Fame as anyone. The second reminder for someone my age is how stable a franchise the Steelers are. Since January 1969, head coaches have been Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. As Tony Kornheiser would say, that's it. That's the list. As the rest of the league hires their coach every 2 years, the Steelers have been steadfast in playing the long game with a motto of patience is a virtue which pays dividends. And how they go about their coaching search and who they ultimately choose will be fascinating to follow. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open to those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Marc Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Mo, Puff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Just to finish up, I was mentioning before our late guest popped up in the earlier hour about TJ Finley's 7 schools in 7 years. So LSU, then Auburn, then Texas State, and then he transferred from Texas State to Western Kentucky, and last year at Georgia State, and then he transferred to Tulane, but he got kicked out of school because he got arrested. So now, Incarnate Word. And the novelty of a quarterback playing for 7 different schools in 7 years is pretty eye-catching. How is that even possible? LSU did not count towards his eligibility clock because everybody got a free pass during the COVID year. He got a medical hardship in 2022 and 2024 because he had season-ending injuries after 4 games and then 3 games, respectively. So 3 waivers plus the other 4 years, and that's a 7-year career, which will presumably conclude at Incarnate Word. And, hey, look, whatever is good for you, right? Also, kicking off the second half of the semifinals at the Coupe d'Afrique, the African Cup of Nations, AFCON, between Senegal and Egypt. Senegal is so loaded. I basically recognize every player roster who's either playing in the Premier League or Ligue 1 or in Serie A. Egypt obviously has Mo Salah. Mo Salah is, we'll see how long he lasts at Liverpool, but he's the reason that Steve Kerr is a Liverpool fan, because Steve Kerr as a kid lived in Egypt and he loves Mo Salah. So he automatically just said, whatever team he's on, that's my team. So the AFCON is a lot more interesting now that they're down to the Final Four, like most tournaments. All right, 1-800-878-PLAY. Tune in at iHeartRadio, Stitcher, up, Twitch.tv, and on YouTube. Stream as well. Come on back.
Chick-fil-A's new frosted sodas and floats, it's a 10 out of 10. Hey, Lizzie, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You will love having your favorite soda blended with our creamy ice stream to make a new frosted soda or float. With the mix of the ice stream and soda fizz, it's so delicious, I love Fizzalicious.
Order a chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKatie.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katie, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
All right, obviously, Uncontrollable Urge by Devo, but it's a marching band. What is going on? Rick Tittle back with you coast to coast and around the world on American Forces Radio Network, and right here in town in San Francisco tomorrow, Sketchfest, the 23rd annual version will be getting underway, running through February 1st, and we're quite happy now to be joined by Marc Capelle, and Marc Capelle is here because he is the man behind the Red Room Orchestra, and they will be performing at the Great American Music Hall this Sunday at 8 o'clock, and they will play music of Mark Mothersbaugh, and Mark Mothersbaugh will be there, and if you don't know him, he's the lead singer of Devo. Mark, thanks for coming on the show. First of all, tell us how the Red Room Orchestra all started.
Well, I was with my good friend Tom Ayers, who's the lead guitarist in our group, and we every July 4th would play the parade on Catalina Island, and we were rehearsing a band of sort of amateur musicians on things like Wooly Bully, et cetera, et cetera. And we got bored, and I started playing the theme from Twin Peaks, the two themes from Twin Peaks, and Tom's like, we should play that more often. And then we got back to town, and he and I did a gig at a place, and they were like, oh man, that's great. Can you get some more people? And over the course of about a year, it went from just the two of us to about 18 people, including many of the cast members of Twin Peaks.
So is that the time when you're like, whatever musical forays or forks on the fire you had, you're like, I think this is it? Kind of like, Pee-wee at the Groundlings. Paul Rubens was doing all these characters, and they're like, no, just do Pee-wee.
Yeah, you walk down the street sometimes and you see somebody on the phone going, no. And this was a huge yes, and it was a rocket ship. It felt very immediate. We all worshipped Pee-wee. I mean, not just Pee-wee, but David Lynch. I mean, to return to the sort of Twin Peaks Red Room, how the Red Room name came about. And it just kept on happening. We went to New York. We sold out on Broadway. We played outside Lands. We have musicians that fly in from around the world. There's some of the best musicians. Yeah, no, it was immediately like, I'm in love with this thing and I want to keep on moving with it.
Devo is so huge for me because I was 15 when that first album came out, and I was in high school, and I remember taking it down to my friend's house before I could even drive, and we just listened to it over and over. We just thought it was the coolest, weirdest, we didn't know how groundbreaking it was. And then here I am last year, I saw them at the Mosswood Meltdown in Oakland, and they're still going strong. He and Jerry and what other Bobs are in the band these days. But what's that like when you're with someone now who's not just a guy who's had the staying power, but who has been a trailblazer?
Like you, Rick, I'm a Bay Area native. I'm a native San Franciscan, and I saw them at the old Waldorf in, I think, 78 or so. So early on.
Wow.
And we just, it was immediately like, these are our people, and Marc is an exceptionally nice person. That's one thing. He's very witty. He is clearly a genius in a variety of not just music. He's also an astonishing artist. So this feels the sort of the same way of doing with like Kyle MacLachlan and Ray Wise or Seth Rogen or what have you. It's like, this is not a dream, but what a dreamy experience.
I think about how quirky they were. Like, I don't know if you've tackled Blockhead, but and I'm not a musician, but it seems like it's done in 5. They do 4, and then they do 1 extra, then they go to the chorus, and it's like, it almost like makes you stop in your tracks. They would do things like that. Have you tried to tackle Blockhead?
No, we're not doing Blockhead, but that's a very astute comment. There's a lot of 5s and 3s, and we musicians and most popular music here, at least in the Western world, works in 2s and 4s or just stays on one beat. And they have 3s and 5s and 7s and 11s and 9s, and you really have to train yourself to play Devo. I mean, you just rock out to the songs, and then you get inside of them, and you're like in a sort of this beautiful corn maze or something. All your instincts to go to the chorus have to be held off for a bar. So it's not just a 4-bar or 8-bar verse. It's like 9 or 5 or 7. So yes, we haven't tackled Blockhead, but we've tackled. I mean, Uncontrolled George has a bunch of 3-bar patterns in it. We've tackled Boogie Boy's Funeral, which is rarely played. Just a good shrivel up, a good number of songs. We're doing a fair amount of Devo stuff. And we're going to be doing, if you're a Deep fan, we're going to be doing a song from Dove, which was actually Devo. They used to open up for themselves as Dove, and they would dress like Mormon missionaries with poker visors on. And there's a beautiful song called It Takes a Worried Man, which is from Neil Young's movie, Human Highway. And so, yeah, I'm not going to tell you all the songs we're doing because that will ruin the surprise for the wonderful people who come out on Sunday at the Great American Music Hall.
One of the great bass lines ever, of course, was Mongoloid. I don't know if that's PC, if we can do Mongoloid anymore. But I think a perfect song, and you said you want to give away your whole set, a perfect song for a marching band would be Gates of Steel. It already sounds like a march.
Yes, that's a deep cut, and I'm not going to give away the set. But man, I know you're a sports person, and I know that you're a comedy fan, but you're deep on the music.
I'm so cultured in every facet, Mark. Us Bay Area people, we're so multi-talented.
We were born in the best petri dish on earth. Absolutely,
with a lot of other bacteria, right?
That's why they call it a petri dish.
Right, exactly. All right, so as I mentioned, Sunday at 8 o'clock, Great American Music Hall, a great venue. What are people in store for?
We have an 18-piece orchestra, and it might continue to grow. They'll hear music from not just the television music, which is like Rugrats and Pee Wee Herman, et cetera, but they'll hear, as I said, some Devo song, but they'll hear a lot of the film music, things from more recently like Thor or Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, but also going back kind of to some of the origins of Marc's cinema scoring after Human Highway, which is the early films of Wes Anderson, which are Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and the Royal Tenenbaums. And we'll be doing suites, multiple pieces from each of those films.
And I should point out, too, that this band, I'm just looking down, Allison, Karina, Petra, Jess, Amber, Meryl, Irene, Michelle, this is not just a bunch of dudes, because we think Devo, we just think dudes.
Well, I think that's a nice contrast for people. And it's a great sounding band, it's a great playing band, and it's a great looking band. with the exception of myself, of course.
Where did you go to SI or SH or something, or Lowell?
No, I went to a school called J. Eugene McAteer, which is now the School of the Arts up there right near Twin Peaks.
Yeah, McAteer had a good sports program back in the day.
Tremendously good sports program. I mean, the sports program was so good that they took a while to finish the music building. So we used to do our concerts in the gymnasium, which had just a natural reverb to it, of course.
Very good. All right, SF Sketch Fest. Go to the box office at sfsketchfest.com for more information, or at the Great American Music Hall as well. Make sure to check it out this Sunday. The Red Room Orchestra plays the film and television music of Marc Mothersbaugh with special guest Marc Mothersbaugh, the eponymous one. Make sure to check that out. And, of course, led by our guest, Marc Capelle. Marc, thanks for being on, and let's catch up down the road, man.
Let's do that. I hope to see you at the show. I hope to see your worldwide listeners just, flying into SFO and coming to the show as well. Local people, national people. But thank you for your time, Rick.
All right. They're on their way. I'm Rick Tittle. Let's take a quick break with some open lines and come on back on Sports Byline USA.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you. Make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. Provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Look at me.
Look at me. Don't look at anybody else. Don't look at the fat-ass losers or freaks. You look at me!
Rick Tittle will fight anyone listening to this.
Holy whatever, Batman. All right, welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you. And Dean Del Rey, very funny guy. Bill Burr uses him as an opener all the time. He was on the show a few months ago, and he's back because he's at Sketchfest. He has a show on Friday at the Sports Basement out in the Presidio. I know. It's pretty hilarious, but we'll talk to him about that. It's not just Dean, but some others as well. Yesterday, as soon as it was announced, and I talked about it on the show, Mike Tomlin, everybody was asking me, my little brother, two of my good buddies, Charlie in New York, texting, we got to get Tomlin, we got to get Tomlin. And yes, as a Raider fan, I would get Tomlin. Now, there are men that have had longer streaks with no losing seasons, like Tom Landry and a couple others, Bill Belichick, but there's never anyone who never had a losing season, like Mike Tomlin's 19 years. And I mean, it's 9 days ago, Mike Tomlin pounded his chest and blew kisses to the camera when Tyler Loop missed that field goal, and now he's kissing goodbye to one of the most remarkable coaching tenures in NFL history. He won a Super Bowl in his second year. He made another in his fourth. Made the play 14 times. But in Pittsburgh, they wanted him out. The no losing seasons line, it wore thin. Became pretty begrudgingly, let's just say dubious to brag about that at a certain point, and then getting annihilated, especially in that fourth quarter, with Rodgers being eaten bone on that fourth quarter, that they were done. They just haven't been good to get out of the first round, and since 2020, the Steelers have played in 5 wildcard games, and they've been outscored 179-95. It's the second worst margin across 5-game wildcard span ever. But then again, you got to get to those 5 yards. So getting to the dance, as we say, is not enough. You have to leave with the prom queen, I guess. But over the last 9 seasons, only 6 teams have won more season games than Mike Tomlin. But 25 teams have more postseason wins. Now, of course, that just means even one. The Cleveland Browns have won a playoff game more recently than the Steelers. So have the Giants. So have the Titans. In fact, the Jags and Titans have had 3 playoff wins since Pittsburgh last won one. That the Steelers have had so many trips shows how good Tomlin is, but that just hasn't won any of those games. Maybe does it show his limitations? 9 different players have started a game at quarterback in that time. You know, but that's what Mike Tomlin did. He found ways to win. And I'm not a big proponent of guys like Joe Gibbs, but I mean, you can't deny that he won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. And usually you ride out, Bradshaw, Brady, Montana. You ride these guys, and they're the ones that bring you all the glory. Well, he had Doug Williams and Mark Rippon and Joe Theismann, 3 completely different quarterbacks. And over the past 5 years, the Steelers' offense have been in the bottom half, closer to mid-table, but which means mediocre. And so Pittsburgh won on the margins. They had the league's best turnover differential. They had one of the league's best penalty margins. They just were very disciplined. That means good coaching as well. They were very inside the 20. And Pittsburgh's 21 wins outgained is the most in the NFL. So, yeah, we got more yards than you. Well, we got more points. So you take your yards and you can do, with them. But it was very comfortable until it was uncomfortable. It's just the status quo wasn't going to be good enough anymore. And the Steelers might have said that they were playing for titles, but in the roster, especially some pretty bad quarterback choices over and over otherwise. And they thought they had their guy in Mason Rudolph, and they thought they had their guy in Kenny Pickett. They maybe thought they had their guy in Aaron Rodgers. So now things get really uncomfortable as change is. And we know about the fact that since when I was a baby, they had a different coach, but since I've known what football is, they've only had 3. Noel, Coward, Tomlin. And, if they appoint a guy like Josh McDaniels, he will last 1 year. Now they're expecting another, in a decade is nothing there. That's nothing. Because Noel did over 20 years and Coward did like 15, and now Tomlin has done. Now, if you only 10, something's wrong with you in Pittsburgh. But the other thing to remember, as much as people who hate Mike Tomlin, haters going to hate, right? They were the team in the NFL. And, yeah, their quarterback was 42, but their 3 Pro Bowlers are all over 30. Cam Hayward's 36, Jalen Ramsey and TJ Watt are 31. They did not draft well. I talked about quarterback, wide receiver. It's always left them scrambling. But in order to escape the cycle, I guess they have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, and that is, do they take a step back? Do they embrace a losing season for the first time since 2003? They're not going to embrace it. But the whole growth is painful, change is painful. Nothing is as painful as staying stuck where you do not belong. That's the other thing. And it's just about taking a bath now or taking a bath later. You're rarely ever given the choice of pain or no pain. It's a lot of pain or a little pain. And no pain, no gain, and whatever other type of catchphrase you would like. So the last 9 years, the Steelers and the terrible towel scumbags. I hate the terrible towel scumbags. But they were probably wondering, what happened? Didn't we have Roethlisberger here? Seems like a long time ago. The aren't completely barren at young cornerstone pieces. They need another wide receiver besides DK Metcalf. They traded one. They needed somebody else in the secondary to build around Joey Porter Jr. But they need a quarterback. And when Coward took Roethlisberger 11th overall in 2004, this was a big, burly guy from the MAC. He played at Miami, in Oxford, Ohio. Tomlin infamously never developed a succession plan for life after Roethlisberger and never fielded championship caliber team after Roethlisberger retired. And people will blame Tomlin. I always hate the makes everybody better, you make everybody better. And I remember when Magic makes everybody better. You mean he draws people to him and then he passes to them? It's catchphrases. And so you don't take that for granted, I think, but now they have. So, I mean, look at the Patriots swung and missed. They said, all right, Gerard Mayo's our coach and Mac Jones is the quarterback. No. All right, well, how about Mike Vrabel and Drake May? Yes. So the Kansas City Chiefs had to take a swing on Patrick. It worked out. The Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen, and both fan bases were like, ugh. The other thing is with the Raiders and whoever else all knocking on Tomlin's door right now, I think an opportunity to him for the first time in, 30 years to maybe just rest a little bit, because that's something that he can do. Just actually take a step back and go to his family and say, y'all remember me? I know you usually only see me during the summer, but how's it going? My name's Mike. And I'm, being a little facetious, but it is true that way. And it's not as bad as baseball, where you've gone for huge chunks and the season like that. I mean, they are business trips. People always say, oh, football group. There's no football groupies. These guys can get girls whenever they want. They fly into town. It is a business trip. They're all in the hotel. And then if one of them goes out and doesn't back after curfew, it is a big deal. Not saying everybody, but it's not that type of thing. So maybe Mike Tomlin is why I say, can I get a break? That could be something as well. And then when he comes back, he can basically go, I'll say wherever he wants, but pretty close to wherever he wants. Hell, he could take over an SEC program. They'd give him a 10-year contract right now. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Let's take a break. Come back with Dean Del Rey.
Strange ways coming today. I put $1 in my pocket and I threw it away. Been a long time since the federal dime made a jukebox sound like a mirror in my mind. Need to calm my worries, fix my thoughts, throw my hopes.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Marc Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at BevMo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
What would you say you do here?
Well, look, I already told you.
I deal with the customers so the engineers don't have to. I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
I'm waiting for the chance. Hot potato.
Rick Tittle will fight anyone listening to this.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. Sketchfest 23rd annual gets underway tomorrow. It'll go through February 1st. So many great acts all over town. And specifically, we want to make sure you get out to the sports basement. That's right, Presidio, just past Chrissy Field, across the street there from the Palace of Fine Arts, because there is the SF Sketch Fest threesome. Doug Benson, Lane Moore, of course, both friends of the show, and then our guest, the very funny Dean Del Rey, the man with the cool name and the cool vibe. Dean, man, what's it like when you with two other ballers like this? This has got to be a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, I do comedy every night at the Comedy Store, so it's going to be similar to that, just one after another killers at the store. You might go on in between Sebastian and Bill Burr, Ali Wong. Any night there is some, just a heavy loaded lineup. So it'll be just kind of similar to that.
What I love about the store and the main room and belly room are fine, but you're right. Like a Tuesday or Wednesday at the OR, you can get like 8 headliners working on stuff, and that is the best value in comedy.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I always tell people, you want to get your money's worth, you can watch everyone on Netflix and Hulu and YouTube on a Tuesday night for, minimal money. It's great.
So last time you were in studio, you had come out with that amazing show, the 5836, the one in the cave, and I want to say Tennessee, Kentucky, where was it?
Tennessee, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the caverns out in Pelham, Tennessee, in between Chattanooga and Nashville. There's a cave, and I was like, that looks like a good place to shoot a comedy special. And we rolled the dice, and we won for sure.
I still think all the time, I almost ran out of gas the other day, and I remember I saw you open for Bill in San Jose, was that 2 years ago, and you said if you were president and you are 30 years old and you run out of gas, execution, right?
Yeah, my rules, if I was president, is if you don't have a headboard on your bed, death to you. Yeah, I mean, if you run out of gas and you're over 30, death to you. Off the planet, man. It's just funny stuff,
I remember you said, those headboards are free on the freeway, and like 2 days later, I was walking through Berkeley. I saw a headboard that said free, so I took a picture and I tweeted it at you, and you did laugh. I mean, that was just too perfect.
Oh, man, I get people daily sending me photos, headboard, on the side of the highway, in front of someone's house. I mean, that's how I write. My eyes are open at all times. And I could be sitting in a coffee shop or a red light or anywhere, and just comedy unfolds itself right in front of you.
As you say, I think we're about the same age, and you said not married, no kids. I'm killing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, when you go to your class reunion, like say you're 40 or whatever, and people come up and they go, man, you did it right. They say it under their breath, you know. There's always that saying, you know, cheaper to keeper.
Yeah.
I always laugh at that. Like, people they care more about their money than their happiness, man. That is one sad thing about, you know, the world right now.
No doubt. So, you've had 2 careers though, which is pretty amazing as a musician, and you put out records, and then who'd have thought you'd be even more successful as a stand-up comedian? But what's that like? Kind of like, I mean, they're both creative, they're both entertainment, but it's like 2 different genres and 2 different lives almost.
Well, I'm getting ready to do the final Bon Scott tribute here February 3rd in Los Angeles for my 60th birthday. And once a year, I do a full tribute to Bon Scott. And it's a bunch of celebrity players. Like this year, it's Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, Alison Mosshart from The Dead Weather and The Kills, Gene Simmons, Kiss, Bill Burr on drums, you know, Murr from Primus, tons of players. And I learned something from doing this over the years that, thank God, I started doing comedy, because the older I get, playing loud rock and roll is it is brutal on the body and the mind and the head, you know, the ears, everything. You get up there and you go, whoa, Marshall Stacks. These things are loud, you know? It is crazy, like, because when you don't play music every day, you lose that, and you know, that callus of your whole body of how brutal that is, stepping on stage and playing full blast rock and roll.
Yeah, I heard Bill talking about that. It's at the Avalon, and Gene Simmons. He said Gene Simmons might do a couple songs. He might just bail in and out. I guess he's kind of mercurial, huh?
No. What I do every year is we have players play certain amounts of songs.
Okay.
So usually I pick an AC/DC record with Bon Scott, and we play the record top to bottom, and then a couple of the big hits, encores. And people rotate in and out. I got a core band. It's the same guys. It's Josh Z from the Bay Area, who is in Protein. It's Bill Rowe, who's from San Francisco, and he played Jet Boy, Cherry now. But I've been doing this for over 40 years, since the Stone in San Francisco. So we got a core band, and then we rotate guys in for a couple songs. And so Gene's going to play 3 songs. I'm not going to say which ones. I don't want to give it away. But, yeah. And then Josh Homme's going to play a couple. And you know, Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine. It's a bunch of guys. So it's absolutely like a dream come true for me. You know, I get to play with these crazy players this deep in my career, and celebrate Bon Scott on my 60th birthday.
No, that's awesome. I hit 60 last summer, and it's kind of weird because I don't feel that old, but I went to a friend's 60th birthday party, and there were like 50 people all my age, and everybody is looking hella old, and I'm like, damn, I'm one of them? Crap.
I say I'm at the age now where you go to a barbecue, and then, you know, somebody calls you a couple weeks later, and they're like, Steve's gone. And you're like, what? I just saw him. You know what I mean? Like, you get to that age of like, I just saw him. Like, you get that call more and more, which is kind of bizarre. But, I mean, I was lucky enough to get diabetes like 8 years ago and straighten myself out. Without diabetes, I'd probably be dead, because it made me change my diet and my workout. And I beat diabetes. You know, it's in remission. So thank God I got that, or else I probably would just still be eating Swedish fish for breakfast, you know, and eating Mission Street burritos twice a day that are the size of your arm. You know, this is cool. Carbs don't do anything to me, you know. And you just You know, I always say I know everything about a 39 Harley. I didn't know one thing about my body, you know?
Right.
It's just crazy. You know, they don't really teach you anything. And then one day they're like, oh, you got high blood pressure and diabetes and your joints are all gone.
Well, I want to ask you, too, about, I mean, we love Brian Johnson. He's great. But nobody's Bond. And, you know, the whole diet of exposure, hungover in a cold car, or like what? But there's nothing like it. And then you sound just like him too. I mean, what's that like? What has Bon Scott meant to you?
Well, I saw him in '78 at Oakland Coliseum. It was a Cheap Trick, AC/DC, Journey, Blue Oyster Cult, Ted Nugent, and I knew AC/DC by one song. Sin City had come out. It was the Power Age tour. KOME was playing it. That was the station I used to listen to. And so I only knew one of their songs, and I knew Cheap Trick, Surrender. But when AC/DC hit the stage, everybody was looking at Angus, and I was looking at Bon, like, who is that guy? He had tattoos and parrots on him. You know, he had no shirt on. And it was like 11 a.m. and he was up there just commanding it. And that was it for me. I was like, that guy is the guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, shortly, a year later, he was, a year and a half later, he was gone. And I was lucky to be able to see him a few times. And I never forgot it. And what's really amazing to me was I was watching Let There Be Rock, the film, a couple days ago. I like to watch it a couple times a year to get into the mode of Bon. I don't try to imitate him or whatever, but I just like to look at the flavor. And the great thing about that guy was he always sounded amazing live. So that tells me that that was his natural voice. A lot of people that try to do Bon, you know, they just, they don't know what they're doing. They just squeeze and I'm like, you know, and he was an actual really killer singer, you know?
Well, those days on the green were great. Before I let you go, do you remember KOME? They had that guy, Dennis Erectus, the DJ.
Oh, man, let me tell you something about him. If you go to YouTube and just type in Dennis Erectus, they have tons of his in-between banter, and I still to this day do not know how he did not get shut down. I mean, Howard Stern would get shut down for just nothing, and this guy was so radical, and you can hear it all on YouTube right now. It's so radical that I don't even post it up because I don't want my account shut down. You know what I mean? I can't even believe this guy, you know, and he was so full of it. He's like, it's Dennis Erectus. I'm erect right now. You know, it was just crazy. I mean, there was nothing like that guy.
He would make a lot of KOME jokes, if you know what I mean, as well. All right, Dean Del Rey, I could talk to you all day. Everybody check him out, part of Sketchfest at, the Sports Basement at the Presidio, Friday, 8:30 to 10 with Doug Benson, Lane Moore, hosted by Milan Patel. Dean, great stuff, man. We'll see you out there, and have a great gig down at the Avalon, too.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy. Always good talking to you.
All right, good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Sports Byline.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
I gotta go to college. I gotta.
Danny, this isn't Russia. Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it?
Nah.
I don't think so.
Rick Tittle ain't the man, but Rick Tittle know who the man is, and he slapped his white fanny.
Thanks for that, and welcome back to the show. We just have about a minute here, and then we'll get into the third hour. Lots of open lines. Senegal has just beaten Egypt 1-0, and there was the ball had bounced off the ref, so I'm sure Egypt now, instead of shaking hands, will be punching people. Dennis Erectus was at KOME down in San Jose. I didn't listen to him too much. The guy, when I was a kid, was Dr. Donald D. Rose. He was on KFRC. They were top 40. I would listen to top 40 songs, disco songs, on an AM transistor radio. Like, FM was still kind of fancy at that time. And I know I sound like Albert Schweitzer or something. Like I'm 100 years old. But just the name Dennis Erectus, I think it kind of puts people on guard, even in the 70s. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We got another hour. Get on back on Byline.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. More like a 3-minute warning this time around, as Mike Tomlin was fired on Tuesday as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Technically, he stepped down, but the calls for change in Pittsburgh had become increasingly louder over the last several years, and this season they reached a fever pitch. As the Steelers filed off the field on Monday night after their devastating loss to the Texans, chants of fire Tomlin rained down upon them. The fans' disappointment is justified. Over the past 9 years, the Steelers have made the playoffs 6 times and were immediately ousted 6 times. Since Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell were dumped after the 2018 season, the Steelers' offense hasn't ranked higher than 23rd in yards per game, and they've been one of the lowest scoring and least efficient. Pittsburgh going through 6 starting quarterbacks in 4 years and still seeing enough success to get by provided Tomlin some cover, but this season's additions of quarterback Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator were risky bets that ultimately busted. And with the winds of change blowing hard this offseason in the NFL, Tomlin's exit felt inevitable. But for someone of my age, which is weeks away from 50, Tomlin's exit is a reminder of 2 things. The first is how good of a coach he was for that team in that city. A relatively unknown one-year defensive coordinator in Minnesota, Tomlin inherited a seasoned football team from Bill Cowher and he ran with them. The Steelers won a Super Bowl in Tomlin's second year and would return to the game 2 years later. With a length of tenure we'll likely never see again, he leaves after 19 years as the quintessential players coach. 193 regular season wins, never had a losing record, 13 playoff appearances, 8 AFC North titles, and a Super Bowl. And as good of a case for anyone for the Hall of Fame. 193 regular season wins, never had a losing record, 13 playoff appearances, 8 AFC North titles, and a Super Bowl. As good of a case for the Hall of Fame as anyone. The second reminder for someone my age is how stable a franchise the Steelers are. Since January 1969, their head coaches have been Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. As Tony Kornheiser would say, that's it. That's the list. As the rest of the league fires their coach every 2 years, the Steelers have been steadfast in playing the long game with a motto of patience is a virtue which pays dividends. And how they go about their coaching search and who they ultimately choose will be fascinating to follow. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Every champion has a team behind them. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of it. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Marc Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at BevMo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Tittle knows his sports. I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. I was talking to some Warrior fans over the weekend about the rumors of the Warriors trying to get Klay Thompson back. And if Klay Thompson was by Dallas, I would absolutely want him back. But a guy told me he heard a rumor that the Warriors were going to trade Kuminga and Hield for Thompson and Daniel. That's right. Famer Daniel Gafford. If you do get Klay back, first of all, Kuminga does nothing for me, and I'm so sick of hearing about him. By the way, Daniel Gafford's a center, if you didn't know, but it would be great to have the Splash Brothers again, but this would be like a retirement tour. This would be like when the Giants got Panda back for 5 minutes. It's like, it's not getting the band back together. It's not going to help you in the playoffs. Klay is not going to help you do anything except give us some nice little good vibes. And if you have a piece like Kuminga that somebody wants, wouldn't you try to get another piece or at least a draft pick so that you would get somebody young? So I'm not against bringing back Klay. As I said, if the Mavericks decide they don't want him, I would love to see Klay Thompson back in the blue and gold and whatever the hell color they're wearing that night, going up and down the court. And he's not at his powers, but who is? By the way, his Anta shoes from China, one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. I give a shout out to Anta. It's a stupid name. Well, now they won't let me sponsor them when I said they have a stupid name, but they're very squishy on the bottom. Everything else is so hard on my delicate feet. Anyway, Klay Thompson for a first-round pick? No. Klay Thompson for Kuminga? No. Klay Thompson, cut? Come on down to Chinatown. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We got another hour. Come on back.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647. Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have these deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify anytime. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
This is JD Sharp. I've been developing a revolutionary sports handicapping service, and you can be a part of the beta. Sign up at betus.com with a deposit of as little as $50 and use the promo code SHARPBetting. Email a screenshot of your worldwide Sharp at betus.com and I'll reply personally with my plays. My NFL record this season was an industry 72-33, and this is the only way to know all my plays the moment I make them. Let's keep making money together.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
All right, thank you for that. JD Sharp will be in the next segment or the one after that. Speaking of highly mercurial, 1-800-878-PLAY is the number to get in and get heard. Not just get in and get heard, but get in and get heard as we look at more off-season plans. And I've been I think we've all been sort of waiting for the next shoe to drop in the hot stove, which is not a lot going on. I guess now that Bregman is going to the Cubs, you'd have to think about now where Kyle Tucker is going to go. And we've heard that he has been given a big fat offer by the Mets. And is that really news? I mean, pick a guy who's available. I'm sure the Mets have offered him, but the reports are that they will likely get him, and that they've offered him 3 years, $150 million. Not real good in math. I'm going to say that's $50 million a year, and with lots of elevators and incentives, escalators. I guess it's escalators. And then, of course, the Yankees and Bellinger, they're supposed to be getting closer. I don't know. This is sort of a dance now between agents. The fans, it's not like... I remember when the A's were actually in the playoffs just about every year under Bob Melvin. They had a good run, and then they were in last place 3 years in a row. But they had a good run there for a few years. And like a dork, I watched MLB Network the last day of the non-waiver trade deadline. Of course, now we only have one deadline, but I watched, and the clock expired, and the A's made no moves. And I'm like, how long do I have to be a fan of this team and the Billy Bean, David Force front office before I realize this is what they waited until August, and then brought in Stephen Drew like 2 weeks. So words, 6 weeks after the trade deadline opened. Do you want 6 weeks of Steven Drew? No, we'll wait till we're bottom of the barrel. You can do that. You can add late. I remember when the Giants added Dave Henderson, hero of Boston's playoff series in '86, and they got him in September, so he was ineligible for the playoffs. And I remember they showed Dave Henderson sitting on the bench, and they're like, we want Dave Henderson to help us get to the playoffs. Did you know Dave Henderson was a Giant for a month? Yeah. And it's like, and I remember seeing him on the bench. He had this look on his face like, really? Everybody else on this outfield is better than me? The New York media is about the Yankees now making a move towards, when I say that, I'm talking about the beat writers at the Athletic. They're making a move towards Ryan Weathers as a starter. Ryan Weathers had a okay season with the Marlins, ERA of 3.99. He'll point out that it's not 4. Don't round it off. Don't wear it out. But their rotation, Max Fried, Cam Schlittler. Remember, he was a big hero in the playoffs. Don't call him Schlittler. Fried, Cam Schlittler. Remember Dante Whitner, who a good broadcast. Dante Whitner said, "Call me Dante Hittner." And we're like, "Dude, it's too close." And he's like, "I don't care." But the other two members of the Yankees rotation, Will Warren and Luis Hill. Now, Luis Hill had a rookie year, obviously rookie of the year, but he was banged up all year. And Weathers did not get through a full year. And you'd say, well, where's Garrett Cole and Carlos Rondon? Where are the money guys? Well, I'm not going to be able to start the year healthy. So, I mean, you think about starters on the trade market, the Brewers dangling Freddie Peralta and the Nationals dangling Mackenzie Gore. And the Blue Jays report today from ESPN that they have not closed the door on retaining Bo Bichette now. And you can talk about Isaiah Kanafa not getting a big enough lead from third, otherwise they would have been World Series champions. That amazing Andy Pages catch in center field. That Game 7 is one of the greatest baseball games I've ever seen. I mean, just I didn't even really care, and I hate the Blue Jays, but I hate the Dodgers more. But what an amazing game if you just like drama and the sport of baseball. And I love the sport of baseball. I absolutely love it. But the Blue Jays of Dylan Cease and Cody Ponce and brought in Kazuma Okamoto. So, but they were also trying hard for Alex Bregman. So this is why the door is still open there. But Bichette has been connected heavily to the Red Sox because Alex Bregman is gone. And the Phillies as well. But the Red Sox want more pitching as well. And so they're looking at relievers, the lefty, free agents like left-handed pitchers, Ron Hernandez and Framber Valdez, but they're also maybe trade with Freddie Peralta. I wonder what the Milwaukee fan base would think of that. They already added Sonny Gray, Johan Oviedo. If you think about Garrett Crochet and Brian Balo and Patrick Sandoval and others, they're not doing too bad. Of course, they had some youngsters pop up in the playoffs as well. I heard, I was talking to a Giants fan who said, Arenado kills the Giants. He kills the Giants. I'm like, he's back in the division, yeah. I don't know if he's a Giant killer at this point, but apparently also Paul Goldschmidt might be going back to the Diamondbacks. We'll see. Can you imagine that, to have Goldschmidt and Arenado on the corners? There are certain guys when I see them in the lineup against Tottenham, I say that guy's going to score. They just always score against Tottenham no matter what. And there are certain guys. It's like Goldschmidt and Tim Lincecum. Or like Chili Davis against Doc Gooden. It's just some pitchers that can't get a guy out. I'm always surprised when I hear pitchers interviewed. I'm like, who's the one guy you couldn't get out? And then they just name some name. You're like, really? Him? You couldn't get that guy out? And it's like, oh, he just, everything was dead red with that guy. It all looked like a watermelon for that guy. So as I said, the hot stove ain't percolating too much, but we got our eye. Let's go ahead and take a break. We will come on back on Sports Byline.
Who's watching? Tell me who's watching? Who's watching me? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me. But is it just a dream? Oh, when I come home at night, I roll the door.
Do you need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who'll offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make out and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
A non-attorney spokesperson, a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163. Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing a book or even more books. Do what you do. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
There are rich teams and poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And there's us.
Quit drinking the haterade and bow down to Ricky T, y'all.
Lines are available 1-800-878-PLAY. Charlie in New York. What's up, buddy?
Hey, you were talking a little baseball, so I was meaning to bring this up regarding team formerly known as the Oakland A's.
Yes.
I saw that they traded for O'Neill, second on the Mets, a while ago. This is like I'm completely. What's your feeling about that trade? He former batting title, won the batting title a few years ago, didn't he not? What's your feelings about that trade?
I didn't know Jeff O'Neill won a batting title, I'll tell you the truth.
Didn't he? Yeah. He won
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess I forgot that. Well, I mean,
baseman, correct?
Yeah, second base. He's going to, he didn't have an amazing year last year. He's a vet. He'll bring a little bit, I guess, of veteran stability to a young team. They need to spend money on somebody. So I'm not over the moon about it. But, I mean, it's not a horrific addition. So I'm not, not much enthusiasm there. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
All right, yeah. And they locked up Soderstrom for 7 years, which I thought was, again, I'm trying to suppress my A's fandom because of what we've talked ad nauseum about. But what's your feelings about? You think that's 7 years, 86 million? That seems like a pretty good deal for even a cheap team.
It's an amazing team-friendly deal, and I don't blame Tyler for doing that. He's a Gold Glove left fielder, which is crazy now. He's not even first base anymore. But they need to lock up the two biggies, which of course is Kurtz and Wilson. Those are the guys that they need to lock up now.
Yeah, Kurtz, the what's his name? The Amish, something Amish.
The big Amish.
The big Amish.
Yeah, and Langalier's got, I think, $5 million in arbitration. I think.
Yes. Listen, it's all, whatever. And I heard they couldn't get the rights to the name Vegas Athletics or Las Vegas Athletics, the naming rights.
They didn't get the copyright, which they did in the three other cities, and they said it was vague. But then again, if you think about Rangers, Rockies, there are a lot of vague names. So it's pretty weird.
Well, good. Anything that makes the owner's life miserable, I'm on board with. Even if he probably doesn't even care. He's probably not even aware. But just to switch to football real quick, Tomlin, I think he's taken the year off. As much as I'd love him to coach the Raiders, and I would personally, I just saw something on my phone that said that he turned down an interview request. So he's going to probably do TV, make a boatload of money sitting behind a monitor, and then come back next year as the number one guy. And at least in my New York area, the Giants are making a full court press on Harbaugh. They're going all out. So I think, the Giants are a 3-win team, but they have a really good roster. They have a lot of good young players, both offense and defense. I would think he would want to go to a team that's a little more ready to win, but maybe he can turn them around. Maybe he can, a lot of those guys, Scatterboo and the receiver, were out the whole year. And it'd be interesting to see what Harbaugh does. But it's just funny, all the stuff that's popping up in the paper, and the Giants mayor is want to anoint him mayor of New York, and so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Anyway, that's all I got, buddy. I just wanted to.
Well, I just wanted to ask, what are the rumors for the crappy Jets?
What?
Rumors with them.
They are praying. Well, the rumor is that who's the second quarterback, Dante Moore, that his people, because of course they have agents now, have gone to the Jets and say, well, what is your game plan? Because if you don't have a game plan, our player is staying in college.
Wow.
So the Giants are in complete panic mode because they're listen, the Raiders are probably one of the worst organizations. I think the Jets are even, I know this isn't grammatically incorrect, worser. The Jets are worser than the Raiders because they're just a complete S show. It doesn't matter who's on that team. So the rumor is that and I also got it from people in the paper I work for. That's Dante Moore's people have gone to the Jets and say we need picking two. What's your game plan? Because if you can't give us any good answers, our guy will stay in college another year. So so the Jets are they're in panic mode because it looks like they'll take him if he declares, which he has to do, I think, by tomorrow. Correct, the 15th is.
Yeah.
He has to make that decision. I don't know. Listen, the Jets, like the are in desperate need of a quarterback. I would spend a top 1, 2, 3 pick on Fernando. Dante Moore, I don't know. Would you spend a number if you're Jets, if you're the GM of the Jets, would you draft Moore with the number 2, knowing the state of your team? Justin Fields, there's just garbage on that team.
No, I would. Like I said, I didn't watch him all year, but he was so pathetic in that semifinal. I would not spend a 2 overall pick on him.
Yeah, because everything I've read about him is he's only 20, so he's still if you draft him, you sit him for a few. Unless I think he's the next one. You draft him and just don't care, and then sit him for a couple of years. But who is he going to play behind? Who is he going to learn behind? Justin Fields or Justin Fields is So that's the story on the Jets. They're in panic mode. They're hoping that he does declare, and then they would draft him at 2. So anyway.
All right. Hey, thank you for
that's all I got.
The Big Apple report.
See you later, buddy.
All right. Thank you. This is Charlie there in New York. He just wanted to make a comment, and then I interviewed him. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. 1-800-878-PLAY. Back when the Royals 10 years ago were good and had our friends from Kansas City radio come out, Gat and Jess and Megan. Wow, I remembered them. By the way, Gat hit me up. She's now a witch. So I thought I'd throw that out there. So she's Gracie Terrell. She's I saw that she was in contact with Andrea Malice, who is the Bay Area witch. And Andrea used to call me all the time on 95.7 The Game. And she wrote in her Twitter bio, she was the official psychic of KMBR and 95.7 The Game. She self-proclaimed. But Andrea would always be very nice. One time she called up and she said, "Hey, Jupiter rising." And then some other woman called me and she's like, "Get that clown off the air." And I go, "Oh, what do you know? Maybe she's right. You going to prove her wrong?" Country. Yes, go ahead, Dominic.
Can you ask Gat to uncurse the 49ers and their ligament issues, please? Thank you.
Wait, who's the latest?
Well, Kittle tore his Achilles.
Oh, that ligament. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bosa's got multiple ACLs. Trent had a hamstring. Fred broke and tore ligaments in his ankle. Kittle's got an Achilles. It's always something.
Is Fred Warner playing this weekend?
They're hoping if the championship game, if they make it there.
All right. Thank you for that. Anyway, at that time, that movie Straight Outta Compton had come out, and Kat had a shirt that said Straight Outta Kaufman. And she was selling them, and MLB told her to cease and desist. The K, now remember, the Chiefs are moving to Kansas, and they're sort of like Cleveland, the baseball right next to the football.
Sorry, Rick, I've got some breaking news that comes off the back of Charlie's call. Dante Moore will declare for the draft.
All right. Yeah, that's smart. That's what I figured. Thank you for that timely update. He'll make millions at Oregon, and he going into the draft with that pathetic performance and that choking. It's not just, his team lost. It was a pick six, and the ball slips out of his hands, and he'll make millions. And so I have to worry about the Raiders drafting him number 1 overall now. But at the K, they redid it. They put in a Hall of Fame. Of course, they have the famous falls out there. They're changing it again. They're going to bring in the walls 10 feet. The GM, J.J. Piccolo, said, "Our goal here isn't to have an offensive ballpark. It is to have a very fair ballpark. We don't want it to turn into a bandbox and every ball in the air turns into a home run. We just want hitters to be rewarded if they hit the ball well, particularly in the gaps." So they're going to come in 10 feet from each foul pole. That's a lot. They're going to go from 389 to 379. Dead center will still be 410. That's very deep. The Polo Grounds, I think, was 480, literally. The height, instead of 10 feet tall, the walls will be 8.5 feet tall. So the Denzel Clarks of the world can climb over that thing. And why would they do this? They're adding 150 seats. Ah, that's what it is. And they're adding 80 new drink rail seats. That's right, where you're kind of like sitting at a bar. And so over the last few seasons, the K has been a place where you have your extra base hits, lots of doubles and triples, top 5. But you think about the young guys like Jack Caglianone and Vizzy Pascatino and Moose and Rocco and all the other Italian guys. Yeah, right. We'll take a break. We'll come on back on Sports Byline USA.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts, a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with SportsBettingClaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties, fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your information for evaluation at SportsBettingClaim.com. Michael Watt, focused on winning for you. SportsBettingClaim.com.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle Dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle Dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. Packages start at $29.99 a month with sign-up. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News & World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Right now, for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
And by the way, can I just say, Rick, that Rick Tittle is one of the great names of all time.
Don't be getting your granny panties all in a bunch. We got Rick Tittle up in here.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. It's one of my favorite return liners. And people ask me what would be my walk-up song. I think it'd have to be a Sabbath song, and probably Never Say Die. Great album, but a great song. All right, do you remember that when we saw Brooks Koepka go back to the PGA Tour, that I said that Live Golf is going to panic and they're going to start throwing cash at the guys who are still there? So, in other words, Brian DeChambeau, Cameron Smith, John Rahm, and they were speaking to reporters at a Live preseason news conference in Palm Beach. DeChambeau said about Koepka going back, I had no idea that what happened. No idea what the penalties would even be. Right now, got a contract. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do at Live Golf this year. Rahm said, I'm not planning on going anywhere. A very similar answer to what Bryson gave. I wish Brooks the best. As far as I'm concerned, I'm focused on the league and my team this year. And hopefully we can repeat as champions again. Does anybody know they're champions now? So those three guys who were eligible to return under the new returning member program, remember, you had to be away for at least 2 years, but at least one, the Players' Championship or one of the majors. And Smith said, I made the decision to come out here and spend more time at home. I'm not giving that away. I'll be on Live for years to come. Now, remember, the Live golfers have until February 2nd to decide. Rahm said the criteria itself would obviously be enough for us to know who it is. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all. There have been quite a few rumors about it for a while, and I'm not really surprised by the news yesterday. Now, that PGA CEO, Brian Rowe, said that this is a one-time defined window and that not a precedent for future situations. He said, once the door closes, there's no promise that this path will be available again. Well, Live Golf will tee up the season February 4th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So, Koepka paid a steep fine in addition to the $5 million contribution to a charity that the tour gets to pick. He agreed to forfeit any player equity shares for the next 5 years. He won't be eligible for any money from the $100 million FedEx Cup bonus program this year either. Now, Roll-Up said that Koepka is eligible for the Players' Championship and other full-field events, but he'll have to earn his way into the signature events by winning a tournament or qualifying through one of three pathways. He's not eligible to receive sponsor exemptions available for $20 million signature events. So Koepka is the first 5-time winner in Live Golf. He's the most high-profile member to return. Phil Mickelson, who was eked out of that returning criteria, he said, I think we're all friends. I consider Brooks a friend, and whatever he thinks is best for him and his family, I'm